Like a Lady on a Fan. Photoplay, January 1923. Slim and dainty with a quality at once exotic and unreal, Alice Brady in her new fur-trimmed coats follows the silhouette of old Japan. The coat in the picture at the top of the page is quaintly suggestive of a bygone era. Almost long enough to be bizarre, and yet not too long to be very charming. Fashioned slenderly of soft black velour with collar, cuffs, and a deep circular border of seal. The small mushroom hat is of black, lusterless silk. The metallic evening wrap shades from a warm silver, moonlight on the petals of a tea rose, to an icy steel. The banded trimmings are of Fitch, and manage to lend an effect of softness to the glittering fabric. Upon her hair, done in an oriental manner, Miss Brady wears a jeweled band. Chic styles from the fashion centers as worn by Babe Daniels, Andre Lafayette, and Hedda Hopper. Photoplay, April 1923. Sand-colored Salome velvet. An old-world sophistication and a simplicity that is almost deceptive. A medieval silhouette, fluted bindings of self material, and a full skirt that is slightly shorter in the front. Only slim, graceful youth could wear this frock. In other words, Babe Daniels. One of the gowns that Andre Lafayette, whose real name is Andre de la Bigne, will bring with her from Paris. Andre is Richard Walton Tully's new film discovery. She will play the coveted title role in his production of Trilby. She has a distinctive clothes taste, as proved by the daringly innocent lines of this geranium and black afternoon dress, from Madeline and Madeline. Something of the Puritan, 1923 model, is in this black satin frock with its softly gathered long skirt and its demure collar and tab of embroidered batiste. The ribbon that forms the belt and keeps the tab in place is of double-faced satin and is quite narrow. The latest in Brides, from Glimpses of the Moon, which Alan Dwan is making from the novel by Edith Wharton. Babe Daniels is as slender and glimmering as a moon lady herself. Soft white satin, tulle, orange blossoms and pearls following an early empire outline. Notice especially the wee puffed sleeves. Hedda Hopper in a wraparound coat designed for early spring wear. Of dark, soft cloth draped slightly on the left hip and fastened with one odd carved button. The embroidery is very heavy and matches, in tone, the narrow ribbons that trim the small mushroom hat. Another of the Andre Lafayette frocks. A delicate, cobwebby dress, created by Jenny, from the white georgette crepe which falls, in classic Greek lines, over a foundation of ivory satin. The edges are embroidered in tiny crystal beads, the hemline is decidedly uneven, and there is only one sleeve. The spring gowns from Paris and New York via the Photoplay. Sound note of classic simplicity. Photoplay, April 1923. Again from Glimpses of the Moon. In a gown so long that one is scarcely permitted a glimpse of the famous Daniel's feet. Mist-like gray chiffon, with bands of chinchilla finishing the short, tight sleeves, the underskirt, and the curious neckline. Purple ribbon, falling from the waist, gives a striking color note. Hedda Hopper's tea gown is touched with chinchilla fur, a gossamer thing of chiffon and cloth that manages to be both clinging and metallic, with long tassels and exotic bits of embroidery. Andre Lafayette likes very much this dinner dress of shaded chiffon, deep rose at the hem, slowly fading into faint pink at the neck. Accordion pleated, from top to bottom, edged by pearls, belted with a sash of silver. A rain model. Turquoise blue velvet tea gown, the draped skirt fastened at the left side with a cluster of handmade silk flowers mounted upon silver lace. Bands of chinchilla fur, Miss Daniel's favorite, are the only trimmings. Paris Incarnate, the keynote of Andre Lafayette's every gown. This, by Madeleine Vionnet, is of white crepe de chine, embroidered in silver, with a pointed hemline, a train, and a garland of large, flat roses banding the hips. Hedda Hopper's evening dress is made of heavy crepe satin, exquisitely draped with only a pearl ornament to match her lustrous rope of pearls for trimming. Brocaded slippers and very sheer stockings finish the picture. The sports hat? It is saucy and intriguing and a thrill with spring. Felt and feathers and an indescribable air of chic. Old King Tutankhamun of Egypt sets the fashion for the American girls' summer gowns and hats. Photoplay, May 1923. The Egyptian note this year. When the tomb of old King Tutankhamun was opened, out flew a new silhouette and a new headdress and a whole series of new colors. See how Gloria Swanson's coat of striped applique chiffon and red rabbit wraps around her a la mummy. And this tan malign turban, wound about with gold tubing and finished with tassels of gold fringe. Agnes Ayres might have worn it in another incarnation, on the Upper Nile 3,000 years ago. When the mode is exotic and bizarre, a demure frock patterned after Grandma's wedding gown sounds an original note. Agnes Ayres may look quaintly unconscious, but she's after an effect. We know. Brocaded taffeta and priceless lace, crinoline and romance. Another Egyptian turban. A foundation of tulle covered with 2 layers of lace, the first gold thread, the second black chantilly. Such a hat suggests a desert night of white moonlight and silver sands, with the silent sphinx for chaperone. A sunflower rampant upon a bed of velvet, surrounded by little flying birds. Sounds like a coat of arms almost, but in reality it's a hand-painted shawl worn by Babe Daniels and the glimpses of the moon. Taupe gabardine with all-over embroidery might be stolen from the Sanskrit. Perhaps there are verses in some ancient cipher written into this embroidery. Anyway, Miss Swanson in her smartest spring suit is something to inspire poetry. Velvet, pearl embroidery, ruffles, lace rosettes, and ermine all go into My Lady's newest frocks. Photoplay, May 1923. Although her evening gown of black velvet with long bands of pearl embroidery is almost regal, and although she wears a slender crown also of pearls, there is something wistful in Babe Daniels' expression. Maybe she prefers gingham, who knows? Gloria's reversible frock of light crepe romaine and blue serge has unique possibilities. A twist and it's all blue serge. A turn and apparently it is made of crepe and nothing more. Created for the dansant, the chapeau. Or for the early, not too formal dinner. The crown and brim are of iridescent cloth, but the facing of black velvet gives the sedate airs effect. A spray of paradise is the only ornament. A simple sports hat for an early summer day, of jade green Milan hemp, with 6 rows of corded fail in varying shades of green, forming the narrow brim. Almost a toque, but not quite, and decidedly becoming to Agnes Ayres. No Egyptian outline this time, pure 100% flapper. Pauline Guerin displays a tea gown of silver cloth and chiffon, with wee ruffles and rosettes of lace. Notice the soft sash of chiffon and the slightly high waistline. Babe Daniels looks surprised. Perhaps it is because she has just noticed that the back of her black velvet gown is made of transparent white lace. A little ermine proves, by joining the lace to the velvet, that he has not lived his life in vain. When spring comes, Agnes Ayres goes hat mad. This one of orchid georgette crepe and black ciré straw is enough to make any girl's heart flutter with joy. A draped fold of ribbon and tiny flowers in orchid tones complete a charming effect. Handkerchiefs, anklets, pongees, taffetas, and silks play their parts in the smart summer wardrobe. Photoplay, June 1923. Julia Fay is almost flamboyantly youthful in her knickers of pongee and her vivid sweater. Old King Tut is probably responsible for the Egyptian motif, displayed in the horizontal bands of stitching that are gay with red and blue and yellow. But we feel that only Julia can be blamed for the cunning little tassels on the otherwise serious-minded wool stockings. This bathing suit may never even glimpse the blue waves of the sea, but by co-starring in the same photograph with Jacqueline Logan, it is fulfilling its mission. Black taffeta with white moire ribbon and 3 widths as sole adornment. Betty Compson in early summer in a street suit of embroidered pussy willow. What could be sweeter? Especially when the suit is deeply fringed with monkey fur and boasts a double cuff. The hat is dark with a wide, wing-like bow of taffeta. The handkerchief scarf and the handkerchief anklet make their appearance simultaneously. The first slightly south of Betty Compton's white shoulder, the other just north of her shapely foot. Betty's mouth seems a shade wistful and pensive, but there's a dancing light in the eyes beneath, the colorful turban of printed silk. Tennis, and a love set will warrant when Jackie Logan, in a sports frock of heavy knitted silk, smiles across the net. The hat she wears is of crepe de chine and ribbon, small and so tight-fitting that the most strenuous exercise cannot dislodge it. A white hat for summer motoring, created of grosgrain ribbon with a fluted ribbon brim and a bell-shaped crown. Betty Compson's face, in the intriguing shadow of it, is flower-like. To bob or not to bob? That is the question that confronts the stars today. Photoplay, July 1923. Paula Negri is letting her hair grow. She is going to wear it up for a time, although she admits that she doesn't believe short locks will ever be truly passé. Bobbed hair will always be worn by some very smart women, to whom it is becoming, she says. I'm letting mine grow for a change, but the comforts of bobbed hair will probably win me back. Norma Talmadge looked blank at first, and then she wrinkled her very pretty nose and spoke. Let my hair grow or not? Really, it's a serious question to ask. Well, I guess that I will, although... She paused, smiled, and... Although I can't be sure, she said. It's lovely to have long hair, but I've always adored mine short. Perhaps I'll let it grow. And yet... Marie Prevost is going to leave her hair just as it is. It isn't exactly bobbed, but it is short. It reaches almost to her shoulders, and when it's curled tightly, Marie has bobbed hair. And when it is marcelled and smoothed out, it can be done up in quite the latest knot at the back of the neck. Viola Donna says that her hair will stay bobbed until the Kaiser is President of the United States. And she means it too. You see, Viola's hair is naturally curly, and a wet comb will work miracles in the way ringlets and marcel waves appear all over her head. Bobbed hair was written for Viola's type, and she wouldn't step out of character for anything. Blanche Sweet was one of the last stars to bob her tresses, and she asserts that she's going to be the very last one to let them grow. Lots of people say that Blanche has the loveliest hair of any picture beauty, which is saying a good deal. It's fine and real ash blonde, and as shimmering as silk. She had it cut to celebrate her marriage. Gloria Swanson demonstrates the latest in bobs, which is answer enough for anyone. Cut close to the head and back, the silhouette gives the effect of a tight and rather dignified style of long hairdressing. Barbara Lamar's new wardrobe. Photoplay, December 1923. This speaks, but in a perfumed whisper, of the boulevard. A wrap of accordion pleated, black georgette with narrow silk braids woven into the material. An inspiration of Renee for the afternoon promenade. The collar is of the So Smart monkey fur. This evening gown is constructed over transparent mulline. The ashes of rose bodice is covered, but not concealed, by a drapery of brilliant cobalt blue satin, and the narrow sash that accentuates the hip line is of pale blue. A daring color scheme, but a charming one. By Callot. The soul of Paris, of daring, mystery, and loveliness, is in Barbara Lamar's every costume. Photoplay, December 1923. Barbara Lamar hurried over to Rome to beautify production of The Eternal City. On the way back, she stopped off at that eternal city of the fashion world, Paris, and stayed just long enough to select some of the most unique and charming creations of the world-famous designers. Callot, René, and Francis. They vied with each other in earning for Barbara a new distinction, one of the best-dressed women of the screen. From traveling costume to evening wrap, they gowned her, cleverly fitting her for every hour of the day or night. And the result, even Paris held its breath at the loveliness of Miss Lamar in her new clothes. A Callot evening gown, black spiderweb lace over a tight-fitting, flesh-colored slip. The back is caught up with a heavy drapery of black silk fringe, and the figured turban, Barbara Lamar adores a turban, is made gorgeous by 2 plumes of yellow paradise. A traveling costume that follows the Russian influence. The bandings, in intense red, stand out in relief against the black velvet background. The collar, cuffs, and border are of silver links. A wide black velvet hat with 2 red pins relieves any hint of the somber. An afternoon tea gown by René. In silver gray crepe satin, it follows a line of straight and almost liquid beauty. The wrap is heavy purple satin, and so is the turban that depends, for trimming, upon a jeweled triangle. The scarf is of platinum fox. This evening dress of crepe charmeuse by Francis has a wide bow upon the hip and a long sash-like drapery. It is black, favored this season by both Paris and Miss Lamar. The black turban is trimmed with paradise and a diamond ornament, and the cloak of brocade in silver and American beauty boasts a border of white fox. Black soutache braid traces an intriguing design across this traveling suit of heavy silk crepe. With it, Miss Lamar wears a fox scarf, fastened snugly about the throat, and a small black velvet hat with a spray of glycerined feathers drooping from one side.